What's going on, guys? Vulkan here, and fresh off of yesterday's dev blog, we have a new patch coming to V Rising. Now, this patch is already applied. It went live at like 5:15 a.m. Central Time. So if you're someone who has played since then, you're already playing it. But there's some really cool stuff in here we need to talk about. One, bunch of bug fixes. 2, increased clan sizes. And 3, new items that were added to the game that we can take advantage of. So let's go ahead and let's break this thing down. This is gonna be a very quick video, but it's important stuff that I think you guys really need to know. So hotfix, this is 0.5.41669. We can see here the patch went live at 11:15 UTC on official servers. Because I'm on a private server, I did have to restart mine. And that was very quick, and everything is there, so we're good to go. Let's see. So they added a texture quality to the graphic options menu, which can greatly reduce texture memory usage. I know a lot of people were talking about performance issues with V Rising on older machines or lower end machines, and this should help with that. They added an FPS limit option. They also changed low quality atmosphere to high quality atmosphere to keep the options menu consistent between menu options. They fixed a bug where the anti-aliasing option could not be set to anything other than TAA. Okay, so here's some actual changes, right? So the stairs have been moved to the castle floors tab in the build menu to make it easier for players to find them. I didn't run into this issue from other people, like no one mentioned it to me, but there were a few times where like I would click around like, where are the stairs? And then you realize that, okay, they're over here. So having them to the floors tab, I think is fine. Seems kind of weird to be in the floors, but you know, I guess if it makes more sense, we'll put it there. They fixed some missing matches on particular world objects. I saw this on a couple items where like just a big center like of something would be missing, and it's just completely transparent. You're like, all right, cool. They fixed a performance issue that caused performance drops when hitting Knight Marshal Styx the Sunderer with specific abilities like Mirror Strike. This makes sense. That fight and the Behemoth fight were the only fights that I saw any FPS drops. When Styx would use his bats, that's when I saw a slight drop. And when it came to Behemoth, when he would do like his big like star-shaped kind of like earthquake or shockwave move, I would see an FPS drop there. It was more noticeable with Behemoth than it was with Styx. They added a respawn hotkey to the control settings menu. Okay, so this is the big one right here. So maximum clan size has been increased to 50, okay? 50 other than 4. So if there are more than 10 players online, only the 10 closest and online will appear in your clan HUD. This is great because up until this point, having 4 has been brutal, especially if you're trying to party up because there's no party system. So I would invite somebody to my clan. That way we could, you know, see each other and we could go and farm or do whatever. So having this essentially be able to encompass the entire server so we could all be in one mega clan. It's a PvE server, very close community, so it's fine. But having this is going to be super, super nice. Now, one thing to note. Okay, so I'm not sure on official servers, but on my private server, I had to go into the server settings and I had to actually change this setting from 4 to 50. Well, to 40 because that's my server cap. But I had to change it myself. If you do not change it, it is still going to be set to 4. So if you have a private server, make sure to go out there or have your admin go out there and make that update for you. Now the clan HUD will now properly show names with different colors depending on if a clan member is offline or online. This again is just those kind of little kind of things that are going to help, because I would log in and all the people in my clan, all the 3, their names would be white, they'd be highlighted. And I'm like, oh, you guys are online. And then you look and they're not moving. And it's like, okay. Now when you log in, they're kind of grayed out and it looks like they're offline. So you don't kind of get confused. Server details will now show the amount of in-game days the server's been running for. They fixed an issue where a soul shard could be put into a container if the user swapped another item in the container with a soul shard. This was a big thing. People would get soul shards on PvP servers. Somebody would like raid the castle and they would quickly take the soul shard, put it in their inventory, swap it to a vampiric container, and then you couldn't get to it. And it really kind of ruined that whole PvP element. They fixed an issue where duplicate armor buffs could be applied to a player, causing their gear level to increase above max. This makes sense. They altered the refinement cost and refinement rate server settings. These no longer affect the blood essence consumption rate of the castle heart, which is good. Now here's a couple big ones, okay? So the drop rate for the following items has been slightly increased. Seeds for various plants, schematics, and golden jewelry. So seeds, I felt like I didn't really have an issue finding these. Like these felt plentiful. Golden jewelry also felt, not, I wouldn't say plentiful, but it felt like a good drop rate for how rare they're supposed to be. Schematics, on the other hand, were an absolute monster. Like finding these was always a pain, and farming these was rough. So seeing this get bumped up, I really like. But the other two, that's just kind of gravy. I mean, being able to find golden jewelry a little more often, I'm down for that. Then they added these new items, Razor Hood and Razor Cloak. So I hopped onto my test server. I gave myself these items. So if you guys want to see them, here's what they look like. So tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, as you go higher in tiers, it becomes a little bit more like a cape versus a wrap, and it becomes longer, gets more detail, things like that. The hood's really cool. Reminds me of like Razor Gaming, which is hilarious. Just like the black and the very bright green going on there. But it's a cool set, and I'm not entirely sure how to get them. Maybe it's a drop or something like that. But here's what they look like. All right, so back to the patch notes. Occurrences of multiple spawns of the same V-Blood unit type should not be repaired upon server restart. I actually ran into this yesterday with some of my community. We had the Werewolf Chieftain, and there was like 3 of him. And at night, he was like, I can't do it. It's rough, which I totally get. But he was able to go during the day and then kill the human form. And then at night, they're all dead, and then just one werewolf showed up. So he managed to figure it out himself. But now you can just restart the server, and it should help with all of those. I'm almost wondering if this is caused by admins using the add time command, which then makes the game skip forward, which I'm curious if that speeds up respawns as well. And if that's the case, then maybe that's where you get those V-Blood unit issues. They fixed an issue where the castle PvP player indicator in the escape menu was using the game client's local time instead of being retrieved from the server, which obviously isn't good. Okay, so they fixed the cooldown bug. So before, if you had a recast active, you could swap your spear or the sword or whatever. You could do a different weapon, and it would reset cooldowns. So they went ahead and they fixed this. Now your cooldowns are going to be persistent, even if you have a recast active. They optimized some server memory by removing data from disconnected users, which should, again, help with the server stability. Now, I don't know if the official servers had this message, but you'd see it pop up from time to time, and it would say your performance might degrade over time, so you need to log out and log back in order to kind of free up your memory and your cache and things like that. So hopefully this fixes that, and that server message won't be there anymore. I see it every now and then on my private one. But I haven't noticed a huge issue. Granted, there's not, I don't have a full server, so it's not like that stuff was like stacking up really bad. The client no longer tries to load old config files and will not get stuck in a white screen if the config files are invalid. This is something that we saw a lot of yesterday. They were troubleshooting it and getting it fixed. So awesome turnaround time there. And then I'm going to skip this one because this kind of ties into that. They added a loading screen when starting up, which replaces that white screen that was previously there. Any player can now dismantle castles, structures, and floors if a castle exists without a heart. This could occur due to an issue that was fixed in a previous hotfix. This allows players to clean out structures that would otherwise exist forever due to the missing castle heart link. So love that. We need to clear out spaces for the new players, so making sure to do some cleaning is always great. And then they fixed the issue where some computers rebooted when connecting to a game. Thank goodness I didn't run into that. That is intense. So guys, that is the most recent hotfix we got here. Obviously the big kind of things that were added, a lot of stuff that affects performance, some fixes, but then we have the drop rate increase for seeds, schematics, and golden jewelry, as well as the new items, the Razor Hood and the Razor Cloak, and the clan size being increased to 50. So guys, let me know in the comment section below what you think of this hotfix. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you next time.
don't know